Welcome to the Loveland All Sports Podcast, where the land of love can get updates on not only Loveland sports, but learn and discuss many sports topics. Let's have some fun, be friendly with an open mind, be controversial yet informative. Shoot any ideas you want to lovelandallsports@gmail.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Loveland Sports Guy. Loveland's All Sports Pod is sponsored by Meredith DeWitt of Brittany Fritch Realty, Loveland's #1 boutique brokerage. Contact Meredith for any and all of your real estate needs at meredithbfteam@gmail.com. Today we spend time with someone else that isn't a stranger to Loveland, but now is in an elevated role. Girls varsity head soccer coach, Chmiel. You will learn about his role as our middle school gym teacher and what he does with his exercise science class, his awesome experiences at the collegiate, and even working in the MLS. But we will also learn how many will be in his crew to take down a hippo, but most importantly, his goals and philosophy for the girls program. So enjoy this conversation with the real deal Chmiel. All right, Craig, well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk today on the Loveland All Sports Podcast. Happy to hear you're joining the Loveland Girls Tiger community as our next varsity girls soccer coach. That's awesome. But before we get into that, I want to get the community a chance to know you. Why don't you tell a little bit about how long you've been at Loveland and what you've been doing at our middle school?
This will be my 12th year teaching at the middle school now. I teach exercise science and 8th grade PE, both of those together, the 8th grade group. I get to see the 7th graders also. We have some combined classes. I work in a department of 3, myself, Chris Redman, and Graham Halcomb at the middle school.
Great guys. I've gotten to know Redman a bit, and what he's done for the wrestlers and the football program there is awesome. So, real deal Chmiel. My kids, it's the first thing they told me. How'd that come about?
That's how the kids know me. Either that or Dubell-Smith is what they call me.
Okay.
During the COVID year, actually, myself and Mr. Halcomb just found a lot of time on our hands out at school.
Okay.
So we were able to have plenty of time to work out, do a lot of planning, and we did a lot of interactive stuff with the kids through, video media, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I created that TikTok account just out of joy, and also it was funny seeing the kids in the masks and seeing how they had to interact and getting that captured on film.
Yeah.
One of the ones I made, it was over like 500,000 views. It was
really
pretty cool. Just a simple background, but really just, wow, really? That's how we're going to look back and remember these times, or like that. So I've continued that. I love sports and highlights and clips and audio, and at Summit, being an assistant there, I've had a little more freedom to video and make some cool clips and just some inspiring things for the players. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll have to follow you. I'm a closet TikToker. People make fun of me about it, but if you want to eat chicken and rice tonight, you can find a recipe in 10 seconds and watch it for 30 seconds. You can laugh, you can get educated. I love TikTok, so I'll have to start following you.
Yeah, check it out.
Both my boys, Zach and Charlie, both had you for gym class, and my younger son took your, what's the name of the weightlifting?
Exercise science
class.
Yeah.
He did make a joke. He said that you yelled at him a few times because he was doing too much weight. Mm-hmm. But I know why you were doing it, and you'd be proud because he's a beast in the weight room now. And football being important to him, he was pretty proud of his gains over the last year, going from freshman to now a sophomore year. So you taught him at a young age how to lift the right way, and it's definitely paying off for him. So that's great. Anything else you want to add about your Loveland experience?
Well,
at the teaching.
That class in particular, I will say, I've kind of self-designed the curriculum, and I've created around 5 main health habits.
Okay.
And these are the same habits that I'm talking to my girls team about right now.
Yeah.
What are the things that they can specifically do right now to help improve their performance? And that's kind of how I cover it in my class as well. Those 5 things are sleep, nutrition, exercise, safety and hygiene I combine, and then relationships.
Really?
So those 5 things are the core of what we cover, and that exercise piece is really big in that class. So I allow the kids to, tell me what sport they really care about and want to strengthen for, and I help them build a specific program to that. And we do that in the first quarter and second quarter. On Mondays and Wednesdays, they come in and they get to do their workout. It's really not a lot of necessarily communication with me back and forth. It's just them doing the work. I forced myself to do it as well because I think that's a great example to set for the kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, that's probably the number one thing. That and the Quidditch that I've created in my PE class are the number one things that kids remember and like about my classes.
No, it's great. To set those tones early. I mean, you could probably run a class for 50-year-olds in Loveland and have good attendance because it's a good reminder for all of us with those 5 traits. So that's great. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
So moving into soccer, I mean, I'm a big college sports guy, follow it, watch it, all that. I'm not as knowledgeable on the soccer topic as a lot of people are in the community. So why don't you tell everybody, like Dayton Gems I'm familiar with because I grew up in Dayton and they've been there for a long time if I remember. But
no, it's funny because I looked that up on the internet too, just out of curiosity, and it was like a hockey team too.
That's right.
And it was a brief period in time that we had that, and that was the year after I graduated high school.
Okay.
And I was in this flux period of not playing in college but wanting to still play.
Was that considered semi-pro?
Semi-pro, just simply, the Dayton Dutch Lions would be a good comparison of it. Some college players come back to keep playing games while they're in their off season. They don't necessarily get paid because they're playing in college. There are some of the players that aren't, that do. That kind of makes it semi-pro.
Yeah.
But one of the things about that I mainly remember was that team got to scrimmage the Columbus Crew, and MLS was in its infancy at that time. And my goal growing up was to be either a pro football player or a pro soccer player.
Really?
So I saw that as an avenue. I trained with those guys, and right before we were getting ready to play, I wasn't even on the roster. I had dreams of that was going to be my game, man. I was going to have 2 goals, 3 assists. I would have been signing my contract by the end of that game, for sure.
Right.
And it's funny because 2 years later, I found myself sitting in the Columbus Crew locker room. My father owned a grocery store, Chmiel's Market. I worked there between the ages of 8 and 22, bagging groceries, facing shelves. And one of the women that worked in the bakery, her husband was an assistant coach for the Crew.
Okay.
I built up the courage my sophomore summer of college. I had taken the general classes. I decided that sport organization was going to be my major. I had minored in coaching, but I just didn't really know where I was going to go with that. And I mustered up the courage to ask her if she thought her husband had anything for me. And I took his email. I emailed him. He said, meet me up here this date. And literally 2 days before that date, they fired the head coach and promoted him as head coach. And he stuck me with their equipment manager. So 2 days later, I found myself washing clothes, but sitting in the locker room with professional World Cup guys. So
right.
It was a unique experience, and that was also an opportunity for me. I put practice player on there, both with the Crew and the Red Bulls, because I still thought that I was good enough to play. And numbers are not always equal on the field when you're playing different games and training and things, so I'd always have every vest with me, and as soon as someone got hurt or they needed a number, I would just jump in there. But honestly, being willing to do that, especially when I went to New York, leaving that Springboro bubble and really never being outside of Dayton, just being myself and being able to play around with the guys, and that was a big piece of getting a job like that, is you got to be able to relate to the players and take care of them. And I really consider myself a caretaker anyway. That's what I'm doing at the school. That's what I feel like I'm doing coaching. And I'm the oldest of 5. I've been doing it for a long time. So this transition to this piece as head coach here, it's been a long road, but it's something that I always saw myself doing. I didn't get impatient about doing it. I wanted the right thing to come at the right time, and this is definitely it. So I'm super excited. So
explain to me, you played some club soccer too at Miami, where you went to school. So what are your thoughts on playing club at a Division I level school that offers varsity traditional college soccer versus going to play D3? I mean, there's pros and cons. And every parent out there thinks their kid's going to play for Man U. They're going to play for. I played football at a soccer and basketball school. I went to Indiana. Soccer and basketball were cooler than football. But what are the differences? The
main thing with club is that it's not going to be as demanding in terms of your schedule. We coached ourselves at the time. The year that I went to Oxford, they had Title IX had shifted 3 of the men's teams, and one of them was soccer. So there were about 6 guys that stayed from that team. They still honored their scholarships, and they started the club team. There was about 120-some guys that tried out. two of the guys that I was living with made it, and I didn't make it.
Okay.
So I spent about 2 weeks in my dorm just sulking every time they came back, and they came back about 2 weeks later. Hey, we don't have enough guys to go on this trip to Northwestern. They asked if you wanted to go, and I'm like, fine, I'll go.
Right.
And I really did have a great weekend, and it wasn't. I was on that team after that ever since.
Nice.
And my connection with the crew was funny because I was bringing home Snickers logoed shorts that the Columbus crew used to wear that they were getting rid of. So it turned into a cool thing where I was kind of coaching and playing at the same time.
So now, is it like my rugby friends in college? They would play one real rugby match, and then they'd get the keg out, and they'd play a second match when they were all drunk. Is that the same way in club soccer at Miami?
I distinctly remember one guy that he'd always rip cigs at halftime of every game. I don't know how he did it.
I mean, the endurance it takes, I could see it in football or rugby because you'd be a little more crazy or whatever, but the aerobic part of soccer would make it really tough to drink or before a game. So
for sure, I'm sure we had a few good nights after.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. What are your thoughts? You've been around the block between your playing, your coaching, being around it. What are your thoughts? You know, travel. I have experience in coaching travel baseball. I had one kid that was a rec kid. Played freshman baseball, another kid that's a decent baseball player, and we've been in the travel world. In the world of soccer, what can you tell the parents that would help them make a decision if they should play for a rec team, an entry-level travel team, or one of these crazy national travel teams that tours the region or the country?
Yeah, I think the bottom line is what does the kid want? If they're looking to be with their friends and have a good time, you know, that recreation lower level is probably best for someone like that. You know, if you're someone that's really trying to improve in soccer, you need to put yourself in the most difficult situations possible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different levels. There's a lot of different clubs that'll say this is the best league or that's the best league. You know, our team right now has girls from 10 different clubs on it.
The Varsity girls team.
Yep. We have 49 girls on our summer roster right now, and they're from 10 different club rosters.
Really?
So those rosters range from recreational teams to high-level ECNL teams.
Right.
So,
and you're involved in Ohio Elite, right?
Yeah, Ohio Elite's a ECNL team. They have a national league in the RL teams. I currently coach on the boys' side, but previously I coached 3 years with the girls. I coached at least 5 girls that were on the Loveland team.
Okay.
That was kind of one of my first connections with Coach Kelly and just the team. As you get deeper into club season, if your team's good enough and you're making national tournaments, you know, that kind of conflicts with the summer schedule of a lot of high school teams. I think it's important that the players finish out the season that they're in.
Yeah.
And, you know, the coach should be really understanding of that. And I'm definitely trying to be that for my higher level club players that are finishing out their season.
Great. So I work with a guy, he's one of my better friends, let's not call him a work friend, and he played professionally at Coventry back in England. He's been in the States 10 years. He's got 4 kids. His 2 boys are soccer phenoms, Lakota East. One's going to play in college, and he's from England. Mm-hmm. You had dreams of either being a football player or a soccer player. So you might be the wrong person to ask, but being a football guy like I am, how in the world do these international level and pro level soccer players, when they get hit and they fall over and it looks like they need to be carted off or an ambulance should come out, and then I go watch a girls varsity Loveland game and those girls are just as physical and they get right back up. How in the world, how do you tell a football guy what that guy's acting on the field?
Here's one of the best ways I can describe it. Like, I never wanted to be an actor. You'd never see me in show choir or anything like that. But there's only one person really watching this game that 22 people are playing. So it's easy to sometimes trick that person if they haven't really seen what's really going on. You know, when I think about football, I think how many referees are out there on a single play. So there's not really that much you can get away with.
Right. But they're trying to draw a foul. They're trying
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the rolling around and stuff after that. I tell my players if you're going to get hit and you're not going to get to the ball, I don't see anything wrong with trying to earn the foul. You know, I'm not the biggest person in stature, so that's something that I had to use to my advantage versus the bigger players. But if you don't get the foul, you need to just get back up and get going.
Yeah, I agree. I get it. We can, why they call American football football. It's mainly not played by your foot, and the ball is hardly a round ball. So why do they call it football? But I argue with guys all the time about American football versus real football, and it's like, hey, this is real football, and it's a great argument to have. There's no doubt about it. The spread of soccer across the United States is phenomenal. I mean, I grew up in Sycamore where soccer was king. Everyone knew a Sycamore Arsenal, and now it's like there's a club team on every corner. You know, you and I could start one tonight on our cell phones and have 10, 11 boys or girls ready to go and pay us all a bunch of money. But like you said, you got to do what the kid wants to do, I think, and it's just a fun argument that we'll always have here in the United States between the two. So, all right, let's have a little fun.
Okay.
So you are now entering Josh's Smokin Seat. I got 9 questions I'm going to go through, and I just want your real from the heart answer.
You got it.
Skyline or Gold Star?
Skyline.
All right. LeBron or Jordan?
Kobe, Jordan, Magic, LeBron. That's my
Oh, I love that one. Good. Charlie and Zach will fight with you, but that's a good one. Did you stay on the Bengals bus for the 31 years of no playoff wins?
I actually hopped on the wrong bus. I was about 8 years old, went to a playoff party, saw the Cleveland Browns, Bernie Kosar, Kevin Mack, Eric Metcalf, fell in love, and my heart's been broke ever since. So
Okay.
I'm not hopping off of it, but we're hanging by a string here.
Well, my second team was the Broncos back when Elway was there and all that. So
That's right.
they've got the Browns number. So I remember that. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Only if it has lunch meat in between the bun.
I agree. All right. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
I love T-Rose, absolutely.
What was your first concert?
Metallica.
Oh, that's a great one. Great one. I was the Cars, Heartbeat City tour. When you're making cereal, do you put the milk in the bowl first or the cereal first?
Cereal, then the milk.
Okay. We'll argue about that one. Jack Nicklaus or Tiger?
Tiger Woods. I watch him every time he plays. I'm expecting him to be caddying for his son or doing some type of coaching.
That'll be good.
Charlie.
When you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, do you put peanut butter on one piece of bread or both pieces of bread?
I make 2 at a time. I put peanut butter on 2 and jelly on 2, slap it together, cut it in 4 triangles. I have chocolate milk. I dunk it in. I eat it. I'm all about PB&J. I probably have more of that food than any other in my
That's
life.
awesome. Well, if you stick to your 5 characteristics of what you teach the kids, you'll keep the good weight off. That's great. And have you met any famous athletes? I'm sure with the Red Bulls. And
I have a lot. Some that stick out. I got to meet Steve Nash. He came and trained with our team, and I made him a jersey. And
really,
he started a fundraiser that he plays soccer in the city. It's gotten a little bigger since he first started it, but I got to kick around with them. And,
oh, that's awesome.
That was pretty neat. Mike McGee, who won the MLS MVP in 2013, unbelievable person. John Harkes is another one. He was a player for the U.S. national team.
Okay.
He was also one of People's 40 most beautiful people.
Really? Oh, that's
And then Josie Altador is another one, U.S. national team player. I traveled to Haiti with him on a service trip that I'll never forget.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I wanted to stick to the core questions, but I knew you'd have some good answers just because of your experience. And it's just fun to hear, the different answers from everybody. And then, my kids told me I should keep a chart so we could see statistically who likes what. So thanks for playing that game with us.
No problem.
All right, let's dig into a little bit about the team and whatnot. I was thankful you shared with me. I'm a football guy. I've coached a ton of youth sports. I got a boy playing in college. I got another boy at Loveland playing, and I could look at coaching things all day long. And it's crazy the difference between a girls' soccer plan and what I've been through. The difference is like so little. It's not very big. But I loved the PowerPoint that you shared with me that talked about the base camp and where you're heading. Talk about that for a minute.
The analogy, the 2 that I like to use, one is climbing the mountain, and the other one is, you're on a split road, which way you're going to take. I asked the girls, if there are 2 roads and one of them was beautiful sunshine and rainbows and the other one was scary and dark, you got through both, you get the same medal, each one, which one do you want to go down? And I believe it was about 50-50. And our main discussion after that just revolved around how much are we going to learn about ourselves going down an easy road comparison to going down a hard road. I told him that I was going to find ways to make it hard on them. And I think that going through the hard things is going to tell the kids who they are as a person and also tell their teammates what they're willing to do for each other.
Great. I really liked if you had no fear, what would you try? That was a great statement, but what were some of the girls' reactions?
I say a lot, if you're not messing up, you're probably not trying very hard.
Yep.
So in those moments in training where things are just looking a little bit slow, that's something that I'm emphasizing. I want them to be able to go fast. Soccer's a fast game. And if they're not pushing themselves in training, then it's going to be really hard to replicate that in the game.
Yeah, no, that's great. I want to just focus on your top 3 goals of the team for this coming season.
Number 1 is to be the most resilient program in the state. Resilience mainly because this program is going through a lot of change. They've had the same coach, legendary coach Todd Kelly, for 29 years. There's a lot of things that have been done the same way for a long time. And I'm a different person. I'm a different type of coach. I think we both have the same intentions. But I'm looking to shake some things up, and the girls have responded to it really well. I'm thankful that I've had a lot of them in class. A lot of them know me already. They really allowed me to be myself so far and kind of help guide the program in a new direction.
Okay, great. And then you have the 5 claws of success. Is that the LPAW? Is that the claws? Is that what you mean by the 5 claws?
Yeah. Basically, it's like having 5 core values for our team.
Okay.
What we stand on. Resilience, character, discipline, pressure, and preparation. Those 5 things relate to soccer in every way and surely in life in every way. So we're going to try to connect those things just to kind of live out who we are as a program and who we are as a person through those values. Nobody's perfect. People are going to make mistakes. But those 5 things are kind of the values that we want to embody and really display for everybody in the community.
That's great. Anything else you want to share about your philosophy? And
I think the number 1 thing about my philosophy is just I want to provide the players with the experience and the environment that they truly deserve.
Okay.
As a club coach, seeing the cycle of how a kid moves from team to team, one of the main reasons that a kid seems to be leaving is either the coach or the experience. So those are things that I'm hyper aware of. I think players are now evaluating coaches as closely as good coaches evaluate players. So it's important to be prepared and have a plan and also hold people accountable. That's not always easy to do because people are different, situations are different. But I think having accountability as a core thing that you expect from your team and your players, having high demands, it's not the funnest thing, but it's really what kids want.
Yeah, it's probably what parents want too, right? I always say if you want to play varsity sports, it's not about winning state. It's about turning that girl into a woman or that boy into a man, and they're going to take away so much more from that than they are if they win state or go all the way to regionals.
That's exactly what I told the girls too. One of our goals is to win the state title from a soccer standpoint.
Yep.
But if we are focused on those 5 claws of success, we're going to win either way.
Yeah.
Like, there's only going to be 5 teams now that win the state title in the girls.
Yeah, so it's going to benefit Loveland with this new 2024 playoff arrangement where we will be able to qualify, or we'll be able to compete with Division II schools, correct?
It shifts us in soccer to Division II.
Okay.
There's 64 teams in that division spread out throughout the state.
Yeah.
I will say that in all divisions there's good teams.
Yeah, no, there are. No doubt.
I think it's a great opportunity, though, for us now. It's probably the right spot for us to be in.
Yeah.
And I think it provides a window of hope that, maybe if we figure this out as quick as we can, we can make a run deep in the
it's a great, I've grown up here most of my life and watching the bigger schools and the private schools. You have a great team, you make it to the second round and you play MND in volleyball or you play a team in football and you don't really have a chance. But now it's going to be more of a fair competition for everybody across those 64 teams. For basketball, girls basketball, soccer, both boys and girls. So I'm really glad the state of it's kind of everybody gets a trophy participation award. That's kind of the wussification of America, right? But it's the right thing to do so they can compete.
I guess I compare it to football. How many divisions are there in football? There's a lot of more opportunity per se.
Correct.
So, it's it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
I'm glad the state's done that. That's great. This episode is sponsored by Cappy's Wine and Spirits in downtown Loveland. Tap room, bottle shop, meeting place, great music, gift ideas, and just a traditional watering hole. The number of things Cappy does for our community are immeasurable. And surely live music on most Friday and Saturday nights. See you at Cappy's. So what games have you circled on the calendars, the big games? I'm sure the first one's going to be awesome, but then there's rival games. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we open up in Kentucky for a couple games on Friday and a Saturday, and then we come back and have our first home game on August 20th versus Little Miami. That's a big one, you know. First home game, first opportunity to show everybody what we've been working on. Last season they tied this team 1-1, so you know it's a little shot at redemption for them and an opportunity to get off to a good start in the UCC.
Awesome. I got one more question I didn't write down. So, how many people would be in your crew if you had to kill a hippo with no weapons, no guns, no knives?
Is there enough that you can have? I'd say you'd have to have at least 80 people.
80. I said 50. I mean, it has 6 centimeter thick skin. They're not carnivores, but they will kill for thrill and they will fight.
I just don't even know what any amount of people could do to it to hurt it. Is what I mean, you couldn't strangle it.
No. 80 is a great number. You know, if they weigh 3,000 to 4,000 pounds, you would have to get enough people that will be able to weight it down in a river to drown it. But you're going to lose some of those 80. Who's going to be the first one? You know, it's a great argument question. You know, and people, cocky teenagers, you know, Zach, Zach.
What did they say?
Oh, they said 10. I'm like, 10? Who's going to be the first one to go out there? But 10 people? And I think Zach said like 30, but it's a fun argument just to talk about it. And I wanted to bring a new question into the podcast. So
I wanted to mention one other important game that we're having.
Yeah.
I've been working with Jason on this, and we've spoken to Todd Kelly, but we're planning on having an appreciation game for him. Our last game of the season, October 8th is that date. We're going to be playing Milford. And Todd actually used to coach Jill Helms, the coach at Milford.
Oh, great.
So I've reached out to her. She's all on board, and we're hoping to make that a special night for him, and really thank him for what he's done the last 29 years.
That's October 8th?
Yeah.
October 8th, so pack the stands. I know Jason Bruce will be excited for it because he's a Milford guy, athletic director at Loveland, so he's as we learned last week.
He's got a lot riding on these Milford-Loveland games, you know, with his daughter being a freshman at Milford. She's a goalkeeper. She's someone that we're going to see the next 4 years, so I'm anxious to see his nervousness on the sidelines of those games.
That's great. Well, Coach, anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. You know, I guess if anything, I'd like to say how impressed I am with the transition of me being asked to take over this position and working with Jason, Rich Bryant, Christy Bullport. I've had great conversations with Meredith, and the athletic boosters have helped outfit us this year with new uniforms that we are really excited about showing off. You know, it's going to help kind of just rebrand who we are and just give us the look that I think we need. So those people, though, have really helped in the transition. And Sean McGarity, that's another guy that I've met that is just unbelievable. His energy and the way he goes about his job, I've never been around someone like that. It didn't take me long to recognize that he's special, but the girls have latched onto him. We've been working out with him 3 days a week. And all 45 minutes of it, the girls are locked in, engaged, and he's a special person. We're really lucky to have him.
We are. I mean, you can see the transition of boys on the football team where they have traps, they have guns, they don't have bellies, and it's pretty neat to see what Dame Wood and Coach Cruz started and bringing McGarity in. It's awesome. Well, real deal, Hola Chmiel. You best of luck in your next chapter. This is going to be fun to watch, and you definitely got one dumb football player that's interested in watching girls soccer. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thanks again, Coach Chmiel. Great to getting to know you and learn about our program. Best of luck to the nearly 50 girls that are trying out for Loveland's girls soccer program. Remember to send any feedback or ideas to lovelandallsports@gmail.com. Peace.